Hi there. Welcome to Monetize Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. Each week, we bring you an interesting conversation with a phenomenal entrepreneur that's making waves within their industry. And of course, this week is no different. We chat to Roxy, who is a visionary who helps you to monetize your dreams and your talents. And we're really looking forward to unpacking that a little bit further. But you know how we do. I'm not flying this plane on my own. I've got my well-trusted co-pilot with me. Papa Biz, how are you this morning?
No, I'm good. I'm glad that we're able to be here to have this conversation with Roxy. And I think it's going to be an important one. There's many people that I speak to where they haven't connected for a long time with things that are important to them or their dream.
Yes.
And somebody who can be able to awaken that is a very, very important asset. So I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Welcome,
Thank
Roxy.
you very much. Well, thank you very much. Thank you
Welcome.
for inviting me this morning.
Yeah.
I'm very privileged to be here.
Looking forward to the conversation. In fact, just before the cameras came on, you were telling us a little bit about the fact that you've grown up and still live within Mpumalanga Woodbank. I think it would be lovely for our audience just to kind of get to know you a little bit better. Who is Roxy? A little bit about your upbringing, just to create a bit of context for us.
It's really interesting. Whenever I get into a room and people find out I'm from Mpumalanga, they're very interested to hear what I've got to say. I think people think we're born and bred very differently when we talk about Mpumalanga, where the sun rises.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm born and bred in Mpumalanga, Woodbank to be exact. And I had the opportunity of later being able to study in Gauteng and then eventually moved to the UK. And then I came back and I lived in Gauteng for another decade or so. And I met my husband and we were building our family. And then we moved to Woodbank to obviously further the business and to work within our family and try and build our legacy.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
Lovely. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And when you look back growing up, were you only child, siblings? How was that set up?
I'm not. You'd swear we were a big Italian or Greek family because we have 4 siblings.
Wow, okay.
Yes, I'm the eldest of the 4, 2 sisters and a brother.
Okay.
And with that, our extended family, my brother-in-laws and my sister-in-law. So we are a very large family. We have our get-togethers at least once or twice a month. So,
lovely.
yes, and amongst all of them, there's 14 grandchildren that my parents
Look at
have
that.
as well. So we are a massive family. So we definitely value what a family brings to the table.
Do you find, so for instance, I'm the eldest in my family. We 3 adults now, not kids. And I would find that by being the eldest, there was a bit of high expectation on me. And that level of responsibility is actually rippled through in terms of the business area as well. Did you find that also sat with you or not really?
It does. I definitely, it resonates when you say that because my father has always, and we always tend, our conversations are normally around business and how it is that we can extensify and obviously grow our portfolios as a family and create a larger legacy for our children one day. So yes, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, I absolutely love that. And so growing up in the Woodbank area, then what did you study, Roxy?
I studied, I did a BCom in marketing and a Bachelor of Communications in Advertising. It was one of the first dual degrees in South Africa through Bond University in the Gold Coast of Australia. So yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So was that doing that online or?
No, that was on the campus. That was in Benmore Gardens, yes.
Oh, they've got a campus here?
Yes. I think Varsity College is there now at the moment. So they eventually had to pull out of South Africa because it was quite an expensive degree to do. And with my father coming from Rhodesia as well, he said the sentiments of education was key. And then I think it was when curriculum 2005 was being discussed. And my parents were very concerned about that.
Okay.
And that's why it quickly pushed us into that institution, just to ensure that we have a better education. Something which is quite interesting is South Africa. We've got some of the best universities in our country, and that was obviously we don't fall short there. And I was very fortunate to obviously study through Bond, but other institutions would have been suffice.
Yes. And what made you study that? Was there something that inspired you in that direction?
Well, funny enough, I always wanted to study law, and my teachers at the time said to me, you can't study law. And I was like, why? They're like, there's so much learning work. It's like, but I can do this. And then obviously medicine. Medicine's always been a passion of mine. Everybody in the family tends to believe, and my friends always say I should have been a doctor. Because I've got such an interest for medicine. But with marketing, my dad taught me from a very young age, he said, everything around you needs to be marketed.
Yes.
And marketing can never go out of fashion.
That's true.
And nor can it be replaced by AI. Because there needs to be a visionary behind the brand. And this is how, and it's strange how I think my calling, like for instance, I'm involved with Supreme Queen Global Earth Africa at the moment. It's one of the biggest international pageants. I'm their CEO.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and how it came about is that seeing a vision, understanding the dream, and helping somebody, Katja, helping somebody make their dream a reality, and putting that dream and making tangible and putting it in other people's hands, and making them understand what it is that you stand for. So why did I study marketing? Because my dad made it very, very clear that, it's something that never could be replaced by anybody else except, by humans. So, yes.
You mentioned the family business. What is that business?
Well, we've always been into minerals. We've brick manufacturing, minerals and engineering. So it's always, there's been, the directions have always changed, but it's also been into construction, buildings, shopping centers, that type of thing. So yes, it's ever changing. So wherever the money lies. Yes.
And now I'm interested, you spoke about your involvement in pageants.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, my interest in pageants, I never thought I was a pageant delegate, to put it, what's the lack of a better word. I entered Mrs. Mpumalanga to grow. I had a wine label at the time, Rare Diamond, and I thought, well, I was approached and they said this could grow your business. And I definitely thought, there's a Tiffany, I'll never forget, she always says when she entered the pageant, she thought it was for airheads, and that's exactly what I thought it was about. Entered Mrs. Mpumalanga, I was quite lucky, I won. The title of Mrs.
Must be quite something, eh?
It was quite and it's an empowerment platform. So it's not about beauty, and it's about brains, and it's about what you bring to the table and what it is you stand for and what change you can instill in this country. And I entered that, and I've been a brand ambassador, South Africa brand ambassador for Brand South Africa since then.
Oh, wow.
And from there, I entered Mrs. South Africa, and I was first princess in 2022.
Really?
Yes.
Look at that.
And then from there...
Incredible.
No, it's so strange, because I never would have thought I would ever have gone that way. And with that, Katja Laboti kind of headhunted me, and she wanted me to take hands with the pageant. And from there, we've been able to grow the pageant from 1 pageant to 7 pageants. As we
Really?
Incredible.
Yes,
sure.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm sure, like in that type of space, one ends up growing quite a wide network.
You do, because it goes from beauty to business. So it's keeping you on the ground, knowing what's happening all the time with trends, not just fashion, but it's everything. Because we're a business, a heavily entrepreneurial based platform, we need to have our ears and eyes open all the time. What's happening? I mean, it was such an interesting stat. We had a conversation, and you might be privy to this, is that 60 billion is being handed out in funding for SMEs, and people are just not tapping into the right businesses, and businesses fail on a daily basis because they don't have the right tools. So now incubation hubs are becoming so important, because they need to get these businesses off the ground. The private sector needs to grow, especially in our country. And what's happening with America at the moment as well, it's given us such an opportunity to grow as a country, not just in South Africa, but obviously the entire continent.
And in some of the areas that you have seen, I mean, it could be different to me, what are some of the areas that you see that funding is actually being made available for, but people are not really putting their hands into either that industry or that area?
It's a lack of knowledge. Definitely the funding is available, but people don't realize the funding is available. They do not know that there's somebody that cares about your dream, that wants you to succeed and create a legacy. Something as basic as, and I'm going to use an example, a domestic worker doesn't need to be a domestic worker anymore. She doesn't have to. But with that being said, I treasure mine with all my heart. She's my other mother. She can't go anywhere. She's my family member. But to be honest, it's so unfortunate. And we've done a bit of a study and looked at potential franchises that people get involved with. And there's one franchise, I hope we're going to get a sponsor over here. Quarter, like quarter loaves.
Yes.
And it's a franchise. And it costs as little as 20,000 Rand.
Really?
That can be funded. So instead of it just being street food and people remember, people have faith in brands. People have faith in stores.
Yeah.
So instead of us eating street food, because we see it's a franchise now there's loyalty and there's understanding and there's trust developed around it. That is freely available. King pies, nail bars.
Yes.
It's certain things that ladies don't even know that they have access to. And it breaks my heart. And with being involved with Supreme Team Global Earth Africa, you've got that network and you've got access. We've also got our own incubation hub at the moment through a company called Oak Tree. And they will guarantee funding once you've gone through this process and they see that you're eligible, you can get funding.
Wow, look at that.
Absolutely. So, and we have, and it's, like I say, pageants aren't just about beauty anymore. Pageants back in the day were about, can you cook an egg? Can you curl your hair?
Yeah.
Like a Stepford wife. And that is exactly what it is not. It's a platform to grow your legacy. And I firmly believe that women should partake in a pageant somewhere along the line. A pageant of stature that you're going to get something out of it, and you can get the marrow out of the bone, and you can elevate yourself.
Yes.
And you can grow from partaking in a journey such as that.
No, I'm really glad for sharing that. I found there's different organizations that we even dealt with last year where there was significant money that was made available for funding, and they couldn't find the entrepreneurs to fund it. There's actually a woman, especially like in farming and agriculture and so on, and they sent about $70 million back because the timeline had expired.
That is shocking.
For when to find the correct recipients. Now, this is why I like what you're talking about, because I saw the challenge that they had. It's not that they didn't have the money. The challenge was they didn't market themselves to the right
100%
forums and areas so they could find the applicants, because the applicants are there.
100%.
But also there's the responsibility on us as entrepreneurs to also go and investigate and find things out. So it's a two-way street. Do you see it like that as well?
Also, people are creatures of habit as well, and human beings can be very selfish. And you not knowing that information, what's the benefit of me sharing with somebody else? Yes, my aim is different. I mean, I always want to see somebody flourish, and I want to, I want the sun to shine on your head, that type of thing. And the thing is, we are not letting enough people know about the opportunities that are available to them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And I can see the passion that you have for this. Did you always know that you'd be an entrepreneur? I mean, coming from a home that has a family business, was it one of those things that's in your blood and you always knew you're going to do your own thing?
I never did. I've tried working in corporate. I loved it, but that's as far as you go. And when you've got all these burning desires and dreams in your belly, that's as far as you go.
Yeah.
Because, and no offense to anybody, but I will say it, a salary is there to kill your dream.
Sure. That's a powerful statement.
Cannot dream if you're getting paid a salary.
It
takes that desire away.
Yeah.
Why do I need to dream? Because I don't have a need. My need is being fulfilled. It's like the hierarchy of needs. I've got my food, I've got my shelter, I've got my protection. Why do I need to go any further than that?
Yeah. And it's so interesting, Roxy, because we are now living in a time where you can literally be anything and do anything. You can monetize, you can be in the online space, literally just through technology. There's a whole new world that's opened up. Just chat to us a little bit about the work that you do with individuals in kind of unearthing their vision, unearthing their dreams, and helping them to monetize that.
Yeah. I think with the culture, we've come from a very restrictive culture. It doesn't matter, black, white, Indian, Chinese, that you dare to dream. And when somebody says to you, but why haven't you? And you go, but I didn't know I was allowed to.
Oh, wow.
It's like you almost need permission to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when you start thinking, and I love brainstorming, and I love brainstorming with my children and with people, because all of a sudden they say things and they're like, this might sound crazy. It isn't crazy.
Yeah.
Because if you can dream it, you can do it.
100%. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Sure. I love that. I absolutely love it. And even just the element of even being able to monetize that dream.
Absolutely.
Because often at times people think, oh, well, it's just a dream, but you can actually make money from that dream.
100%. And you know what awakens people's minds is when they look at TikTok.
Yes.
And they're like, did you? And this one's making so much money on TikTok, and this one's
Wow.
doing this. And it's like, and they're like, how can you make money with social media? You know? And look, people are doing it.
Yeah.
And it's something so basic as you sharing your day with somebody and they're making money out of it.
Yes.
You can monetize anything.
Yeah. Just being yourself. It's
100%.
incredible. Yeah.
Our tagline that I brought in for Supreme Queen Global Earth Africa was, and it was very needed, was unapologetically me.
I love
Oh, wow.
it.
Yeah,
I absolutely
Yeah.
love that.
it's beautiful.
Are there any like interesting stories in your pageant journey in terms of women that you've come across that have experienced transformation as a result of being part of your Supreme organization?
So you know what's so interesting? You get ladies that enter that are housewives that just work as a receptionist. Why I say just work is because their lives changed tremendously. There have been mothers that are housewives that are, and there's one person I'm thinking of, it's specific, 50 years old,
Yeah.
that started a business, and now she is an entrepreneur, and she's
Oh,
just
wow.
breaking barriers where she goes.
Wow. Look at that.
It's the most amazing thing when you see that light go on
Yeah.
and their brain, and it lands for them, and they're like, but I can do this too.
Oh, wow.
That is life-changing.
Sure.
And it happens every single day. I'll use an example. I had a session with one of the girls one day, and she just couldn't tie her vision together with her charity, because there is always a financial endorsement that is part of pageantry.
Yeah.
And she couldn't tie it together. And I said to her, but you've just said it to me.
Yeah.
And she said, what do you mean? I said, repeat what you've just said. I said, now you tie those together. And she was like, that landed for her. And
Wow.
that was her aha moment. And now her entire journey is just about the one element. Now she understands how she needs to put it together. So sometimes you just need that voice. Sometimes you need somebody you need to sit with them, and you need to just lay it all on the table, and that one person can see, but that's how you tie it all together.
Yes.
That's the next step.
Yeah.
That is how you're going to turn this dream into a reality.
Yeah. It must be so gratifying and satisfying for you to be able to coach people to actually realize their potential and to go out there and pursue their dreams.
It definitely gives you an element of, because you get so excited for them because you know what they can
Yes.
achieve. It's literally, it's like having, wearing shutters on your eyes, and you only see what's ahead of you. But once you take the shutters off, they start dreaming again, and they come back to you and they say, listen to this. And you're just like, wow. It's
That's
like,
incredible.
and you create, not you just make them see how capable they really are.
Yeah.
And I guess it comes in terms of also creating an environment where sometimes, people will come in and the ladies will come in, and I'm sure you'll look and you'll see that they're almost a little bit hidden and into themselves, but you see the potential, and it's creating that environment also to be able to unearth that potential that already sits within them.
100%. There are ladies that it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, of course.
That there's still work to be done, but then there are ladies that really, really have, like I say, a fire in their belly, and they just don't know how to ignite that fire and make it work. And you often see it, and you see potential in people before they do.
Yeah.
And it's just about unlocking and opening the right doors for them to see how easy it is to actually implement what it is that they bring to the table.
And that sounds actually very fulfilling because, everybody is different and people are different. And when you find somebody where you're able to engage with them and shine that spotlight that is able for them now to come out of themselves to achieve, what is very possible for themselves, but they hadn't seen it. It's very fulfilling.
It is very fulfilling. It is. And then their victory becomes their own. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Roxy, if you had to kind of leave a message for an entrepreneur that's watching, maybe they're at a bit of a crossroads, they want to journey within their entrepreneurship journey, what type of advice would you give them?
The advice I'd give them is that anything that you have put your hands on and you're currently busy with and you're not seeing the light can change in an instant.
Yeah.
Give it that opportunity. Consult with us. We can have a good. You need a fresh set of eyes.
Yes.
On the deal. Often, and I've said it so many times that I've seen businesses, and then your own crew per se can be poking holes in your boat that you don't realize. Or you just don't have enough faith in yourself. And just by having a fresh pair of eyes on your situation, showing you that you are doing it right.
Yeah.
Or perhaps we just need to try a different angle, that people need to ask for help.
Yes.
There is no question that's a bad question. There is nothing that cannot be asked. And I always say, because people feel stupid, they're so scared to ask for help. And rightfully, I mean, it's so silly. If you know the answer is right in front of you, but you just can't see behind the tree, it's your own fault if you're not asking.
Yeah.
It is. We're in a day and age where you will be left behind if you don't put your ego aside. And that's not what I'm saying. But everyone has a dream. You've been given a purpose and a dream.
Yeah.
Live it.
Yeah.
Create your legacy.
Yeah.
Don't be the reason why you don't get to the end.
Standing in your own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that often happens. I mean, I've heard it so many times that founders of often sabotage their own businesses because of arrogance.
Yeah.
Because they think they know how to do it. When somebody just says to you, hang on, you might not have got it quite right, let's try that. And that could be the line between you succeeding and failing.
Yes, sure. Yes, 100%. Sure, that's quite powerful. So many nuggets that I've actually taken away from this conversation. Papa Biz, what have been your nuggets in this conversation?
You know, outside of your journey and your childhood, I think what has impressed upon me is that you took a chance in the pageant area where you also had a viewpoint which is similar to mine, because I haven't been involved there, where this is something for, women, beauty queens. Okay, cool, great. And you've shown how you got to see just the power that existed within that space, and just also the power of growing a network to be able to influence not only your own life, but those around you. And then you've taken it even further to then go and create a business around it, which is now able to empower others through the same journey that you went through. And that's really powerful. And it's something worth commending, and something that I'm going to be sharing with some people that I'm aware of, that they can also be able to benefit from the journey that you've had. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Such a pleasure. That's so lovely. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Roxy, if somebody's watching and they're thinking, gosh, they want to get in touch with you, maybe they do need those extra pair of eyes to kind of look at their situation, look at their business and shine a light for them. How do they do that?
They can get into contact with us either through my personal page, Roxy Van Bruwaene on Instagram, or on our Supreme Queen Global Earth page, or even our C-suite page, because I am looking after the marketing aspect of that side of the business. So there's 3 places you can get hold of us on Instagram.
All right, fantastic. This has been such a fantastic conversation. I think I love your confidence and your passion. That's really been my biggest takeaway, because it's so refreshing to talk to somebody who's actually passionate about what they're talking about. It's kind of oozing from their pores, because then it's magnetic and it kind of transfers onto you as well.
It does.
So it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure. And thank you for inviting me today. I really have enjoyed it.
Wonderful. Monetizers, that brings us to the end of yet another phenomenal podcast conversation. Please do check the description box if you would like to get in contact with Roxy. Of course, leave a comment in the comment section. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Don't forget to plug into all of our social media platforms on Monetize Your Business, and also plug into our physical workshops. Until our next podcast episode.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.